Welcome to Joy News Prime. And our Special Committee of Parliament finds COP Alex George Mensah and other senior police officers misconducted themselves and should be disciplined by President. The division among the committee members is beginning to play out in the public. Tonight, we have more details from that report, plus tell you the reaction of lawyers for both the IGP and the senior police officers implicated.
Has fully confirmed our earlier nightmare that the chairman, Honorable Atachian, had his own agenda.
Well, I think that conclusion is a bit perverse, and for all intents and purposes, it looks like somebody was in a hurry to hang our client.
Also, the MPP flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, officially presents the name of Energy Minister Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh to the national officers of the MPP as his running mate ahead of a NEC and National Council meeting this week.
For me to choose, I would choose him. I would want somebody who will be open with the people on the ground, who will be able to deliver the votes, and who would also submit to the presidency.
And later on, Duaponko and two other communities in the Fijakwabre North District are wrestling in a daily battle for access to clean and quality water. Now, the special committee tasked to investigate a leaked audio tape on which some senior police officers were heard plotting the removal of IGP Dr. George Akufo-Dampare, where the former NPP regional chairman Bugri Nabu has found that the said police officers misconducted themselves. The officer, COP Alex George Mensah, who is now retired, Superintendent George Linsanda Asare, and Superintendent Emmanuel Eric Jebi, according to the committee, committed a major offense under police regulations and must be sanctioned in accordance with the police disciplinary procedure. The report, which is currently before the House, is also now the subject of controversy after chairman of the committee, Samuel Atacha, refused to sign the report over differences with the other members who are all signed. Now, more on this raging controversy. Surely first, though, our parliamentary affairs correspondent will be joining us with some details of this particular report that we are understanding. But lawyers for the IGP say the development confirmed that chairman of the committee, Samuel Atacha, is biased against the Inspector General of Police. Listen to Kwame Jan, he as lead counsel for the IGP during the hearings.
What has happened has fully confirmed our earlier nightmare that the chairman, Honorable Atachian, had his own agenda and that he was on a frolic of his own, way outside the remit of the committee. And we have been vindicated. We have been in the practice of the House. The chair appointed by the Speaker has no original vote. So Honorable Atachian's vote is only a casting vote if there was a tie, and there wasn't. So far as we are concerned, this report is a unanimous report. Our client, the indefatigable Inspector General of Police, has been sacked from office. We know it's part of the machination of some unscrupulous elements who have an insatiable appetite to be IGP.
On the other side, lawyer for Superintendent George Asare, Alfred Papa Dakwa, says it appears the other side of the committee were in a hurry to hang their client.
What is being circulated we've not formally been given a copy of the report, though we are informed that the report has been submitted to Parliament. I have seen what is being circulated, where most of the members have signed, the chairman has not signed. I'm not too sure whether that is the same thing that's before Parliament. But
what do you make of the conclusion by majority of the committee that your client acted unprofessionally and was politically motivated?
Well, I think that conclusion is a bit perverse, and for all intents and purposes, it looks like somebody was in a hurry to hang our client.
What's next for you? Because your client has been cited for contempt of Parliament. Are you intending to take a legal action on it?
I think what you need to understand is that at this stage, the report is going to the plenary, is going to be debated, and it's what comes out of that debate. That is what will be acted upon. So at this stage, all what we can do is to wait until the final process has concluded. Thereafter, whatever comes out as a verdict of Parliament, we shall advise our client accordingly. But in the meantime, nothing stops us also from commenting on what has been circulated all over the media.
At the moment, where is your client? Is he still at work? How is his state now?
He's still in the service. He's still going about his duties. as any police officer would do.
Is he some way affected by the verdict of the 5 members of the committee?
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, we all were present and know what transpired at the committee level. So, I mean, we have to just trust the process.
Let's bring in Parliamentary Affairs Correspondent Kweku Asante now, who joins us via Zoom here. Kweku, so, I mean, first, the committee determined whether the tape was authentic. It found that it indeed was and not doctored. How did it come by that particular conclusion?
Well, Brace, the committee did say that they put together a number of the witnesses who did come before the committee to present their own side of facts. And according to the committee, they really did put a lot of probative value on the fact that it is most probable that that tape was not doctored. Remember that there was this kind of information that came from Superintendent Asari and others who claim that they do not doubt that the tape has them in it. They are the ones who in it who recorded and all that. But it appears some part has been joined and others to complicate the case for them and to actually make the IGP look clean. But the committee did come to the conclusion, based on the testimonies, particularly of Bugri Nabo and all others, that the tape was indeed authentic.
Well, the committee then finds that some of the officers indeed misconducted themselves. What do we know about that too?
So based on the foregoing, having established the authenticity of the report, they go ahead to say that as police officers, it was nothing of their business to go meet a politician to discuss the tenure of a certain IGP in terms of going ahead to actually plot his removal. They cite Section 17D of the Police Service Regulation. And all of this in totality, making the point that COP George Alex Mensah, who is now retired, Superintendent JB and Superintendent Asari have all breached the police code of conduct, and they are asking the president, who is the person in charge of the police service in terms of the police being a part of the executive architecture, to crack the whip on these persons.
Okay, but we're now learning that there's some sort of controversy about this particular report because the chairman of the committee, Samuel Atachia, did not sign. What are we learning about why that happened and his next line of action?
So, Brace, there were 6 members of the committee, 3 members on the NPP side, 3 members on the NDC side. But the chairman did not sign. All 5 members, including 3 from the NDC, 2 from the NPP, did sign. We understand Samuel Atachia had significant disagreement with how some of the things had been couched in the report. We understand now he is preparing his own report to submit to the House as a minority report. He insists he did not authorize that this report be laid in the House. Mind you, on the 18th of July, when the report was laid, the majority chief with Frank Anodom proclaimed that the report was being laid with the permission of the chairman, who then was not on the floor. Joyce now understands that that was not the case, and that Samuel Atachia has significant concerns about all this, and that is why he's seeking to write his own report, Brace.
Interesting. So we'll keep an eye on that particular story for you here on Joe News. But away from that, government has revealed that it has, it is expecting that, some $2.9 billion will be coming from the International Monetary Fund, World Bank, and other sources to stabilize the struggling cedi, which has lost more than 18% of its value against the dollar since the beginning of the year. However, Finance Minister Amin Adam, in a press engagement earlier today to officially announce the disbursement of the 3rd tranche of the IMF relief money, said some sectors of the economy are already seeing some improvement.
Generally, the macroeconomic environment continues to remain stable as government continues to implement the IMF-supported program. Growth, as we've heard from the previous 2 distinguished speakers, is proving to be more resilient and robust than initially programmed. And the economy continues to show strong signs of recovery, particularly in Q1 of 2024. The result was remarkable. Overall real GDP growth for Q1 2024 was 4.7%, the highest since Q1 of 2022. This growth performance is better than the 3.1% growth recorded in the same period in 2023. After successfully securing a staff-level agreement under the 2nd review of the IMF-supported program in April 2024, the IMF Executive Board approved the 2nd review of Ghana's program last Friday, 28th June 2024. And this has just been confirmed by the IMF Mission Chief, Stefan Rode. We therefore expect the fund to disburse the third tranche of $360 million by close of business today, Monday, 1st July 2024, bringing total disbursement so far to $1.6 billion United States dollars. We have said over and over that the problems with the cedi can also largely be attributed to speculation. And therefore, whilst we'll be making effort to influence market sentiments positively, we also know that some other people are inciting speculation. We have had intelligence that people have been deliberately inciting speculation, but we never got it too real as we saw only 2 or 3 days ago, when my good friend and my brother, the Honorable Adongo, went out there urging people to buy dollars to do their business. We all need to work together, whether we are with the government or we are with the minority, because we are all stakeholders in this economy. We have a duty to our people to ensure that the economy is stronger for the benefit of all. And so, my friends, on the minority side, I want to appeal to you to stop inciting speculation and to work with us, give us constructive criticism, give us ideas so that we can complement the ideas we are already pursuing, so we can provide the kind of direction our people expect of us.
Well, let's do more on this. I've been joined in studio by a member of our research desk here at Joy News, Isaac Ofeje, to get us through some of the pertinent issues that the finance minister raised. Kofi, so walk us through the major highlight that was discussed at this particular meeting.
Well, so the finance minister spoke a lot on the economy, but for us, it is the cedi that really caught our attention because that is actually one of the backbone of the economy. When the exchange rate or when the cedi is stable, that is when you can start talking about inflation and even other economic indicators. So he made a very, a big announcement in terms of how much we are expecting to stabilize the cedi by the end of this year. So we can talk about 7 sources that he spoke about in terms of stabilizing the cedi. And out of these 7 sources, how much are we expecting? Close to $3 billion by the end of the year to stabilize the cedi. And so he spoke about speculation. So if you are holding dollars and if you feel that maybe by the end of the year the dollar will be around 20 cedis, the finance ministry has an information for you that they are expecting $2.9 billion. And so if you are speculating and you feel that the cedi will not stabilize, this huge amount of money will come into the economy to perform the magic in terms of the stabilization. How much are we expecting? Close to $3 billion. $360 million from the IMF, which we are learning that by the close of today will hit Bank of Ghana's account. Another $360 million as the 4th tranche by the 4th quarter of the year. They are also expecting some $300 million dollars from the IMF DPO loan in terms of the World Bank. They're also expecting some $150 million from the World Bank again in the Garrett project. And about the EBID project, we're expecting close to $200 million. And the biggest component will come from the cocoa syndicated loan, $1.5 billion. Kojo.
Interesting. Now, so of all of that, we understand that there's some expectations, that the minister has about how the depreciation, you've explained how it will be. But let's get the details that the finance minister put out there as to how this money is going to do the magic for the cedi's, waning strength.
Well, in terms of inflation, the first indication was given by the governor of the central bank, who said that, inflation is still going to be high, and so they are going to do certain things. One, the gold for oil deal and the gold for reserve program is still going to continue. We also have, other projects that both the Bank of Ghana and the Finance Ministry believe that when implemented will help stabilize the cedi. They're still talking about very stringent monetary policy, a rate in terms of hiking the rate to some extent that will help stabilize inflation. Now we are talking about some 23% or so, but they still feel that this is very high. They want to end the year somewhere around 15% or 17%. And they need to do a lot in terms of injections and then also using the monetary policy rate as a tool to make sure that the cedi is stable.
Well, anyway, we'll be looking forward to that. But one major issue that also came up here, and that's of concern to a lot of Ghanaians, aside the cedi depreciation, has to do with stable power. He also spoke about some agreement they've reached with the IPPs. What did he say?
I mean, in terms of the debt restructuring, it is important to talk about the dollar-denominated debt, and IPPs fall in this category. In terms of the debt restructuring at the IPP side, the total amount involved, Kojo, we are talking about over $1 billion involved. And according to the finance minister, they've been able to reach an agreement with 5 out of the 7 IPPs that we are talking about. In terms of the IPPs, how important are they in terms of our power generation? So we decided to put this together for you to understand how important the IPPs are in terms of power generation. Looking at the 7, the finance minister says they've reached an agreement with 5 of them, AXA, Amandi, Sen Power, and Eli Power. But in terms of those that they do not have any agreement with at the moment, you can talk about Son and Asogli and Car Power Ship. Now, just look at this. You realize how important both Son and Asogli and Car Power Ship are. In terms of the national grid dependable capacity, they share about 27% the two of them alone. 27% of our dependable capacity. That's so huge. Now, if you put them in the IPP's bracket, then we are talking about 46% of dependable capacity that just Son and Asogli and Car Power Ship hold. And so it is important that if you are talking to all the IPPs to restructure the over 1 billion debt, you also need to make inroads to talk to these two. But all the same, it is important, and it's good news that we've been able to strike a deal with 5.
So 54% of it,
absolutely,
we have a deal with them. Well, let's listen to the minister make that point about the agreement with the IPPs.
Generally, the macroeconomic environment continues to remain stable. The final round of negotiations, after several months of negotiations, resulted in the following. Commercial agreements have been reached on headline debt restructuring terms and renegotiated power purchase agreement terms with the following companies: Amandi, Sen Power, Eli Power, Senate, and AXA. We are finalizing documentation to sign this agreement this week and the next. The Amandi, Sen Power, and Eli Power documentation will require parliamentary approval, and the government negotiation team is pursuing an aggressive timeline aimed at securing various regulatory, ministerial, and other approvals prior to presentation of the amended documentation to Parliament for approval before Parliament rises at the end of July 2024. Work on closing out and executing the Sunong Asogli restructuring package and documentation is also in progress. ECG and GNPC have agreed all commercial terms under a master gas supply arrangements, with final technical details being considered, under which GNPC will sell to ECG fuel in bulk for onward supply to the IPPs. The threats of shutting down power plants will be a thing of the past, because we are committed to implementing the terms of this agreement. We already have started performing on our side, and to date, government has paid in excess of $400 million United States dollars to all IPPs as part of our performance of the agreement that we just reached. And therefore, for a chamber representing IPPs not to be informed about these developments and will issue a statement on behalf of the IPPs without consulting with them is really unfortunate. I hope that will be guided going forward, because it is not in our interest to always go there with false information, with negative information. What for? What do we want to achieve? Should it not be in our interest as a country that government has worked tirelessly to reach agreement with IPPs? Is it not in our interest as a country? So why would a chamber representing IPPs go out there with such false information? It's not healthy for our country. It's not healthy for our development.
Well, MPP flag bearer Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has formally put before the National Executive Committee of the NPP the name of Energy Minister Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh as his running mate ahead of a NEC and National Council meeting this week. The meeting, which occurred at the NPP's headquarters in Asylum Down, follows an earlier presentation of Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, and his nomination to the majority side in Parliament and President Akufo-Addo as well. The nomination, however, awaits the decision of the National Council, which is the final approving organ of the NPP, which is expected to meet on Thursday. Parliament has been a hot spot for a debate on the NPP's choice of running mate MP for Asante Akim North constituency. Andy Apiakubi, who is also a member of the National Council, described the nomination of Dr. Prempeh as inappropriate, owing to his supposed inability to unify the party. Blazer Soga takes a look at the recent controversy in the following report.
Jubilation amongst supporters of Mensah South Member of Parliament Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, who's been nominated by the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, as his running mate. Joy News sources can confirm that the Vice President has already engaged many party stakeholders, indicating his resolve to work with the Energy Minister on the agenda of winning the next general elections. But opinions remain divided over the nomination of Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, as some parliamentarians have expressed reservations about his candidature. Notable amongst them is Asante Akim MP Andy Apiakubi, who says Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh is not a unifier.
But me, Apiakubi, you can solicit my view on that. If it was for me to choose, I would choose him. I would want somebody who will be open with the people on the ground, who will be able to deliver the votes, and who would also submit to the presidency. We should find somebody who, if the presidential candidate is not there, he will hold the hand of a member of parliament and go and conduct campaign in that member of parliament's constituency. He cannot hold my hand.
As party faithful look forward to the NPP Council resolution on the nomination of the party's vice presidential candidate, the leadership of the NPP is urging loyalists to remain calm in order to preserve the unity of the party. Alexander Apenyomarkin is majority leader in Parliament.
We have an election just ahead of us, and we should be mindful of how we express certain views in the public space. Yes, we've all heard matters regarding our ticket, but no decision has been made yet. And so I would want to encourage colleague members of Parliament that we are in this together.
Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is expected to table his official nominee before the NPP's council on Thursday, where he will officially notify them about his intention of making Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh his running mate for the 2024 general election.
Well, ahead of that announcement of the running mate to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, there appears to be mounting tension and disagreement among the leadership of the campaign team. Joy News is learning about a rift between the campaign team over the structures and how the campaign is being run. There was a two-day retreat at El King Hotel at East Legon for campaign members, but conspicuously missing was a campaign manager, Dan Kwekuboche, for the entire 2 days, even though close sources reveal he was in the country and even passed through his office in Parliament at some point in time. Let's get more on the nomination and all of these issues. National organizer of the NPP, Henry Nanabuachi, is joining us. Nana, I'm grateful to you for joining. Is this the choice of this choice, what the party needs at this time? What sets him apart from all the names we heard?
Thank you very much. Good evening. In the coming days, we're going to give details. But for now, I can confirm to you that His Excellency, the Vice President, the leader and presidential candidate of the New Patriotic Party today, was at the party's headquarters, where he was received by the General Secretary and the First National Affairs Chairperson, in the person of Chairman Dankwa Smith Bute, where, among other issues we discussed, he also disclosed to us of his intentions to put before National Council his nominee for the running mate.
Okay.
He mentioned that the Energy Minister, the MP for Mensha South, Honorable Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, is his nominee for the running mate position.
Okay.
And he intends to put it before National Council on Thursday. So for that, I can confirm. And in response, all of us said that we are supporting him and his bid. And then we should not also forget that this decision was made by him. He is very much experienced in these matters. Why do I say so? He's been running mate from 2008, 2012, 2016, 2020. He was a running mate. And now he's the presidential candidate.
Okay.
So in opposition, he's been running mate before. And then once we also assume the reins of power, he's also been running mate. So he understands the work. He understands who he wants and who can best partner him.
Okay.
So I think that we need to give him that space.
Okay.
And I think we need to respect his decision to make Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh his nominee.
But you had a colossus like Andy Appiah-Kubi, who was, against, when he had the name, was against that decision that, well, you needed someone who could unify the party. At this point, are you saying that, well, it's quite a unanimous voice that everybody accepts that he, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, should be the one?
You see, it's a conventional phenomenon in the New Patriotic Party. Anytime you are coming up with a fresh running mate, there are always some sort of diverse opinions and some disagreements here and there. So this is not the first time. But, I mean, what is important is that huge, a large majority of the people, are in support of it. I mean, that is the most important thing. But again, let me also say that the constitution of the New Patriotic Party backs the presidential candidate after an extensive, deep, detailed consultation to come up with his nominee. Don't forget he was elected last year, November 4th. And then December, he was supposed to have presented to National Council the name. And he came before National Council and requested for some other time. And we've given him almost about 6 months. We never pressurized him. There was no pressure from anywhere. We never had any meeting again where we said, look, it looks like you're taking forever. We never did so. We gave our dear presidential candidate
the time to do that. But again, there seem to be issues with your campaign. Is everything all right with your campaign team? Where's your campaign, chairman?
Everything is all right. Look, we finished with our national first phase of it. We are hitting the ground next week with the second phase. Everything is intact and nothing. I mean, ignore all of this fake news and people trying to plan some sort of disagreement within the leadership of the campaign team. It is never true.
All right.
I am part of it. I am a key figure in the campaign team, and I can tell you that we have finished up everything, and then hopefully by next week we are moving again straight into the campaign mode. So we don't have time.
No, here. I'm grateful to you for joining us tonight. Henry Nanabuache is the national organizer of the party. Let's bring in Dr. Asante. He is a political science lecturer at the University of Ghana for some perspective on it. Doc, you've heard there, you've listened to some of these dissenting voices in relation to the name Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh. How does that come to you? Do you see a united party come with a united front into this election?
Yeah, thank you, Kojo, for the opportunity. Obviously, when a name is mentioned, as Nanabi rightly put it, you have people who will be apprehensive, they will not be happy and all that. It is to be expected. But the good thing is that the flag bearer has the right to choose anybody.
Okay.
So anybody he deems fit and he thinks that he's the man or the woman to do the job, why not?
Okay.
What is of essence is that you get somebody who can really bring in the votes. You get somebody who can be a good addition to the flag bearer, and you get somebody who can step into the shoes of the flag bearer in case he wins and he cannot continue, and then he takes it from there.
Okay.
And of course, you need somebody who can be with the rank and file as well as the top brass. So it's a careful consideration. And once the person goes through that process, at the end of the day, the flag bearer decide who to pick. And the party will rally behind.
Does Matthew Opoku Prempeh tick all the boxes?
Oh, for me, from where I sit, he is a good material. He qualifies because for selecting a running mate, there are three important considerations you make. If you check jurisdictions outside this country and all, you come across the fact that you need somebody who will complement the ticket of the flag bearer. And he can, what is he bringing on board? Remember, he's a flag is an economist through and through. So you need other perspective to be brought to his work. Okay. And here you are, Opoku Prempeh, a health scholar and a practitioner, and he has worked with two important ministries which are very critical to the survival of this country: education and energy. And these are critical. He's bringing expertise in there. Above all, he's a legislator, and you need laws every time, every now and then. So all these backgrounds are critical. You also this thing is necessary. If you cast your mind back to America, why did Obama appoint Biden as his running mate? Simply because Biden is very knowledgeable in diplomacy. Remember, America is what it is because of diplomacy. So you bring somebody who can complement the ticket, and then somebody that, in case the president does not want to continue again, he can comfortably step into the shoes and perform the work of the president.
Okay, Doc. I'm grateful to you. Dr. Kwame Asasante is a political science lecturer at the University of Ghana. This is still the Joy News Prime. We'll take a quick break from here. We'll be back with more. Please do stay with us here on the Joy News Prime. Welcome back. Now, Duaponko and two other communities in the Efija Kwabre North District are wrestling in a daily battle for access to clean and quality water for the upkeep of their households. In our Thirsty Community series today, Clinton Yabo uncovers the stagnant ponds they drink from, risking their health in an attempt to satisfy their thirst.
Duaponko is one of the communities in the Efija Kwabre North District battling with access to quality drinking water. For the longest time that this community has existed, this has been the major supply of water to many households. And the challenge that comes with drinking from this pond is an eyesore. Traveling to the isolated areas of Efija Kwabre North District is a fraught adventure of setbacks. But none of these challenges is as blunt and plain as the struggle for access to safe drinking water faced by Duaponko and its next door villages. Duaponko, Ejajibiakra, and Ejakunti are clusters of communities in the district where residents trek miles to fetch from the Apemesu Pond. The Apemesu Pond is a natural still water with the size of a normal backyard pond sheltered by weeds and aquatic plants. Residents make their way to the pond daily to survive. With plastic containers, including the popular Kofo gallon and calabashes in hand, they dip into the murky waters. They fetch enough, disregarding the noticeable particles in it, and make their way to their homes or quench their thirst on the spot, just like this gentleman. However, the old and winding pathways leading to the pond are worn and muddy. The pond, now turned stagnant and filled with debris of all kinds, gets muddy every time. Eja Kakari vividly recounts when the Apemesu pond was clear and reliable water source. There was always a calabash to drink with. Later, they created this path, allowing for mud and dust to get into the pond. Now, even animals drink from it. This is not all that there is to the safe water crisis. The situation gets worse as the pond is shared with livestock. The goats, sheep, and dogs we see here quench their thirst from the same water source. Stagnant water can become a breeding ground for harmful microorganisms, but sharing drinking water source with animals is a risk of heart diseases transmission, and these deprived residents are very much unaware of such risk. Seidu Iliasu is the unit committee treasurer. Our issues are many. Imagine all the bacteria from animals and having to share a drink space with them. The crisis gets more fascinating. The farming village with 2 traditional boreholes is not better off. The borehole offer little relief as residents recount how one is often dry and dispensing water tainted with oily substances. The first one they drilled spoils frequently, so they drilled a new one, which turns oily in few days. Meanwhile, the other faintly functioning borehole frequently breaks down due to overdependence from the growing population of the villages. This compels a section of residents to go back to depending on the pond as their only water source. The One of the pipes is spoiled, and we don't even have money to repair. Look at our numbers. Not all of us can use the pipe water.
Back. Let's do showbiz now, and Becky Bex is here from a weekend. Hi, Becky.
Hello to you, Brace. How you doing?
I'm good. Yourself?
A lot has happened at the weekend, and I'm here to give you everything that you need to hear in the world of entertainment, from Praise Reloaded all the way to the BET Awards. Here you go. Give me oil in my lamp, God. Make my light never be dim. Oh, keep me burning until the coming of the King, yeah. Now, for those of you who missed out on gospel's biggest event yet, what is your excuse? Whatever it is, I'm glad that I get to fill you in on Joe Metals' groundbreaking 2024 Praise Reloaded at the Accra Sports Stadium. The Holy Spirit did his work, and all the ministers did their part. From Ohima Mercy, Kofi Osopepra, all the way to Team Eternity. And the man Joe Metal, God, showed up, and there was an encounter with the Holy Spirit.
We have come to give you worship, bowing down before the King. Sing it, holy, holy.
Away from Praise Reloaded, let me take you to the Plus 233 Jazz Bar, where high life lovers across the world got the rare opportunity to experience the live performance of award-winning musician Kofi Kenata's 7-track off his latest EP, Kofi O Kofi. From Antiama all the way to Efiekuma Broken Heart, the Kofi O Kofi EP concert had the best reviews by patrons. How is the EP doing, by the way?
It's doing very, very well. I mean, the streams are going on. The people are listening to the songs. I mean, it's not one way. Wherever you go, whoever you meet, he or she has his kind of favorites. So I feel like it's been all around. It wasn't sounding the same, and I'm happy for such a work. I'm kind of fulfilled because so far there hasn't been any bad comments about the EP.
Now on Sunday evening in the UK, Afrobeats megastar Burna Boy fired up Glastonbury's Pyramid stage. While he has played on the UK's biggest festival before, this is his first time on the famous main stage, which has been Glastonbury's focal point for decades. The Afrofusion star was seen in a massive crowd of both white and black fans as he thrilled them with a number of his biggest singles. The Glastonbury Music Festival is one of the highly recognized music events in the United Kingdom, drawing thousands of people from all over the world. Now in Nigeria, veteran Nollywood thespian Joke Silva, the wife of veteran actor Olu Jacobs, has debunked the rumors of her husband's death, saying he is much alive and doing just fine. This is the second time rumors about the death of the legendary Nigerian actor will be making the rounds on social media. Joke Silva, in her reply to an SMS enquiry by Vanguard, replied, quote, "My husband is alive and doing just fine."
Now let's segment here on Joy News Prime. Thank you so much for having me, Brace.
Thank you for coming as well and bringing us all the latest that we missed over the weekend. Well, thanks for being a part of us, but remember to brush your teeth tonight before you go to bed with Pepsodent product. And also when you wake up tomorrow morning, do same with Pepsodent, because you know what? With Pepsodent, every smile